Hey guys, how you doing? It's Alex, and today we're going to talk about the restaurant that women choose to meet in. One of the interesting tactics that I use with online dating specifically, again, we're back to using online dating because women don't want to be approached in real life. We've established that. And if they do want to be approached in real life, they need to make the first move because modern times, men, it's not worth it to get embarrassed because some girl decides to, I don't know, post you on TikTok or whatever because you just want to say hello. It's not worth it. Honestly, it's just not worth it. So one of the tactics that I use with online dating that really worked well for me is letting them decide where to eat or where to meet. So let's say you're using online dating and you match with people. By the way, you want to know the highest percentage, the professions that have the highest percentage of single women in South Florida. Take a wild guess. Nurses, paralegals. Think about that. Women that choose to be a nurse or in law tend to be single. Really have a, it's a career path that requires a lot of schooling, a lot of, work in terms of studying. They do it and then they're miserable and single well into their 40s and 50s. I've seen it all the time. I'm telling you guys, it's actually pretty amazing how many single nurses are out there and how many single paralegals are out there. And in my opinion, sometimes it's just not worth it. Their job is demanding, their job is stressful, but they want that money. And unfortunately, alpha style women end up in those style of jobs and it becomes pretty difficult. So paralegals or women in law and nurses are the vast majority of single women, especially in South Florida. And when I say South Florida, I say south of Jupiter. Forget Naples, forget Sarasota. That's like West Coast. To me, West Coast is a non-starter. So asking them where they want to meet is something that tells you a lot about the woman. The highest concentration of single women in South Florida are in Fort Lauderdale, Pompano, Hollywood, Miami. So south of Boca, so Dade and Broward County. Big city, a lot of opportunity to make a lot of money. So a lot of professional women are down there. Now, at the end of the day, you go, Alex, why are you going out with these professional women? I'm simply going out with whoever I can attract. You understand? If you're using online dating apps, if I'm gonna try to find a nice little church girl, she's probably not on dating apps, she's probably at church, and I'm not doing that just to find a partner. Actually, that would be interesting if I revert to that and I end up finding better people, and I probably think that it's a higher chance of finding better people like at a church than online dating. I think that's a pretty obvious fact. So back to the tactics of letting them choose where to meet. When they live in Miami, Pompano, and Hollywood, for them to meet you halfway is a lot harder for them than it is for me. It takes me about an hour to get to Miami, but it takes some of them an hour just to get out of Miami. Depending on where they're located, depending on where they work, if they work in the middle of Brickell or something, at 5 p.m., leaving Brickell to get on 95 is gonna take you probably 20 minutes, depending on the traffic, depending on what's happening. So let's say they work, go home, get ready. By the time they're ready to get on the road, it's at 6:30. Then they get out of the road, then they get out, and so I say, look, I'll come to you. I make it really easy. I leave work at 4:30. Men get ready by just, shit, shower, shave, and go. So we're easy. So they appreciate that. I said, but one caveat, you have to choose where to eat. Now this, or to meet, I never say restaurant, I never say pick a restaurant, I say pick a place to meet, and then we'll go from there. So I'll give you a story. This woman that I matched with was a Hispanic woman, and I was a little shocked that she matched with me because she was so attractive. Not to say that I don't match with good-looking girls. This girl was like a 10, and I was like, one, is it a real profile? Two, what's wrong with her? And three, like, let's see where this goes. Like, let me see if this is an Indian scam or whatever. But she was a real person, and I was like, so before you start asking these questions, like, oh my God, why do you like me? Because you were like, what's your trauma? You get to know them, and the communication was awesome. She's a paralegal, which I went, oh, here we go. Here we go. Women in law, or women in nursing, or women in healthcare. They're always single. So I'm like, okay, here we go. Let's see what happens. So on her photos, she looked really good, right? Kind of busty. And I was like, okay, I'm not a tit guy. Didn't see her butt, but I'm looking at her and I'm like, something is oddly hourglass figure-ish about this. It was like, bam, bam, bam. And I went, what the hell is this? Something's wrong. Because Miami, I think BBL, I think something. I don't really know how to put my finger on it, but her shape was otherworldly. Let's just say that. So I say, hey, would you like to meet? She goes, yeah, I'd like to meet. We seem to get along great over the phone. Her communication style was similar to mine. Everything was going really good. Single, no kids, 43 years old. What's wrong, right? People say, why do you say that? Well, if you come from a Hispanic household, you've never been in a longer relationship than 3 years, and you don't have kids, or at least, have never been married or have never been in a longer relationship than 5 years, I think that's red flag city, especially in Miami. And the fact that you're in law tells me a lot about that. Stressful, alpha woman type mentality, blah, blah, blah. So she goes, well, we can meet at this restaurant. And she named the restaurant. I'm not going to give it up. But I looked at the menu, guys, and I knew I was going to be in for a $300 to $400 date. I knew it right off the rip. I go, for a first date? But then I thought to myself, relax, Alex. Don't give in to the red pill silliness. Relax. Just meet her. Stop getting in your own head. Figure it out. I should have listened to the red pill stuff. But anyway, meet there, and it's valet parking only. There's $50. I look at the menu, and I'm like, I got the money, but I don't like just giving away money for. It was a Mexican joint. It's like an overpriced quesadilla, whatever. So I meet her, and dude, she looks so good in person, a little too good. You know what I mean? The culing is ridiculous. And I went, ese culo es de embuste. But I wasn't gonna tell her that. But she looked busty, pretty, nice. So we sat down, break the ice, she got a drink. She knew that I didn't drink. Everything was cool. Got some food. Come to find out, this restaurant was like a club. So at 7:30 or 8 o'clock, DJ sets up and starts dance music, and beautiful women coming in and out. There's a fucking fire dancer. And I'm like, where the hell am I? Very cool experience. Very nice restaurant. But for a first date, it told me this woman likes high-end things, right? Think about it. On a first date, you don't even know if you like the person. So you're gonna all of a sudden make them pay for a $300 to $400 date, not including drinks, valet park. I drove an hour. That's where you pick for a first date? Out of all places. If a woman says, let's meet for coffee, let's meet at a park, let's have appetizers at this place, let's have a drink. When a woman says, let's have a drink, she gets it. When a woman says, let's meet at a park, grab a coffee, walk around, walk and talk, she gets it. When a woman says, let's go to a restaurant that the quesadilla is $80, I'm like, okay, you don't get it. This is the first date. So luckily, we got along pretty good, but there was just something not there. And the more you talk to the person, the more you realize that the relationships didn't work out, more than likely based on her. Because I know how paralegals work, the amount of stress it is to be a paralegal, and the more she talked, the more she kind of lended or told me that the issues that she had growing up were probably an issue why she can't connect with people. And now at this age, there is a crisis moment. And I'm like, oh, you are in this crisis moment and you are basically trying to find something before it's too late. But if your first date suggestion is at a restaurant where the bill was, guys, I'm almost embarrassed to say how much it was. It was some steaks, chicken, a little octopus, it was like a platter. She had 6 drinks, and that red flag. 6 drinks, each were $21. She didn't even look buzzed. And I'm like, I don't mind if you drink, ladies. A little mimosa, a little margarita, something small, or small. 1 or 2. 5 or 6? 5 or 6. and you don't even look buzzed, yeah, that's a little sus. So yeah, the bill was well north of $300, and I went, wow. Then you got to valet park, then you got to tip the dude. Luckily, at the end of the night, we made out, cause you know, she was probably lit, and I was like, all right, we'll see where this is going. But you know, in my head, I was just like, you know, I should have. In hindsight, I should have like pressed for more, like, hey, maybe I can go back to your place and keep this going, you know, in hindsight. But then that would have muddied up the water, and I'm not willing to do that. On the way back, I was just like, wow, I had no idea the restaurant was going to be that expensive. I drove an hour to get there. She obviously had some kind of BBL situation. Like, it's very obvious. And if that's natural, then she is the seventh wonder of the world. Because if that ass was legit natural, you literally should be studied by scientists to know how the hell that happened. But yeah, guys, asking a woman where she wants to meet is a very telling question, because if they want to be at a high-end place on the first date, you know she just wants to go to high-end places all the time. If a woman wants to get to know you, she'll want you to go out for drinks or grab a coffee, walk and talk. And in my opinion, that's what you should go for. Not women that suggest a very expensive restaurant on the first date. It's just setting yourself up for a big bill. Didn't even get the bitch wet. And I was just like, damn, I probably could have spent that on, you know, a race seat for the Fairmont. All right, guys, thanks for listening. More dating stories coming in 2024. I'll talk to you later.